Hey, welcome to this video where we talk about how you can land more job interviews even in a crowded job market. My name is Karina Hagen, and if you don't coach with me yet, I am a leadership and career coach, and I'm here to talk to you about 3 ways in which you can stand out even in a crowded job market. And you probably realize that we are living in tough times, right? When it comes to the job market right now, you're coming up against stiff competition and a lot of it. So what will you do to stand out in a pile of applications that a recruiter receives every day? So I will share with you 3 ways on how to do that, but before I can go there, it's important that you cover the basics, right? The bare minimum. Those basics are namely to have a professionally written resume, to have your resume customized for every job you apply to, meaning you hit the right keywords and you make sure you customize your resume a little bit for each job that you apply to so that you match the keywords or the key skills, I should say, and qualifications that a company is looking for. And third, that you have an optimized online presence. So for example, your LinkedIn profile should be, having your brand articulating exactly what you also pursue in your resume and in your cover letter, right? It should be one well-rounded picture. And lastly, you are already networking regularly with recruiters and with, former coworkers or with people working in the industry that you're trying to break into. These are the 4 things you should already be doing. Those are the basics. Those are not any new things. You will hear recruiters or other coaches talk about that anytime you look for tips on how to, find jobs in this market. You will most likely find a coach or recruiter talking to you about those things being necessary, okay? Those are the basics. Finish working on them if you're already, if you have started working on that. If you're already doing this, great. Let's head on over to the 3 ways in which you can stand out from what everybody else is already doing, okay? And the first thing is to have an elevator pitch. This sounds so simple, but most of us consider an elevator pitch what is actually more like an extended introduction. The idea behind the original elevator pitch is that you enter an elevator with a person that you're dying to talk to, okay? It's the VP marketing, or it's the, the hiring manager, whatever role you're trying to get into, or it's perhaps just any contact at a company that you're trying to work for that could help you find your way into that company so that you can have an internal referral perhaps, right? So the elevator pitch idea is, you enter the elevator with that person, and before the doors open again, and that's 15 seconds, maybe 30 at most, right? What do you say so that that person will say, I need to talk to you again? So it needs to be something catchy, right? What would convince you if you entered an elevator with somebody who would say, oh, I'm really interested in speaking with you, I know who you are, right? Or perhaps they just say hi and ask you who you are, and they say, oh, that is interesting. I happen to what? You happen to what? What will you say that grabs their attention? What will grab your attention? Think about this. So what we're going to do is walk through a formula I will have for you. But before we do that, the reason why you want to have an elevator pitch, and again, it's only 15 to 30 seconds long, which if you look at a written statement you may already have, do a word count, and then you'll see how close you are. Typically, we get across 80, 85 words in 30 seconds, depending on how fast you speak, okay? Don't try to squeeze in more by speaking faster. You want to make sure that you're being understood. But if you have a written statement already, go over it and see how long it is, right? Try to make it something succinct. Why would you try to have one, right? What are the scenarios where you would possibly use this, right? Or what's the advantage of having one? Well, think about this. A recruiter has so many things vying for their attention, right? There are, first of all, thousands of applications, and then there are applicants who perhaps do things that others don't, that try to reach out to them on LinkedIn, right? Maybe they found out their email address and they're messaging them there. A recruiter also has all their normal other workload other than looking through applications where they get an email, they get a text message, they have friends and family who contact them too. So they open an internet browser and they look through resumes, and at the same time, perhaps a distraction pops up in front of them, right? Just like we all experience when we're browsing the web, right? Those things can happen. And just think about how many things try to grab your attention on a daily basis. You need to make sure that when the spotlight is on you, that you are very quick to hit the answer of why should we talk to you, okay? And you want to create not the sale, you just want to create the desire for more, right? You're not entering the elevator to close the deal. You're not getting a job offer right then and there, or it would be very rare. But you're doing this so that you get invited to share more. So it's just grabbing enough interest so that they want to talk to you. And that's what we want. We want for you to get more interviews. So to create this elevator pitch, and before we go into the details here, the scenarios in which you could use this or would use this are manifold. You will use this when you, for example, attend a virtual job fair or a job fair in person once we get to that point again, okay? So you enter the booth of an employer and you knock on their door, on their virtual door, and you ask to chat with them, and a recruiter joins the chat and says, "How can I help you?" Well, what will you say? If you just state things like, "I'm looking for a job as an engineer or as a salesperson," that's not setting you apart. That's not delivering value to them. And that's what an elevator pitch does. You will also use this as your initial statement when a recruiter calls you, sometimes out of the blue, and will say, "Hey, we found your profile. Can I, speak to you? Are you available?" What will you say, right? It will also be helpful in, as I said earlier, in what you're already doing in your basics, right? Networking, to state when your coworkers or former coworkers or people that you know at other companies ask you, "So what are you looking for exactly? How can I help you?" And perhaps you're trying to break into a new industry and you just made new contacts. This will help you give that brief first introduction, and it does two great things. Yes, it introduces you, but if it's something that is memorable, you can save this as a statement and follow up with that to send it to the recruiter afterwards or to the person in your network that you're talking to and say, "This was such a great conversation. Here's what I shared." And then you insert your elevator pitch. "Here's what I stand for. Here's what I'm looking for. Let me know if I can add any more value by adding other information that will help, place me in a certain position," for example. So you have several applications for this. Another one is that you may want to create your own your own video, to introduce yourself. So there are so many applications to this elevator pitch formula that I'm giving you now. What we're answering is the one key question: why would a company want to talk to you? And you're answering this question by delivering value in every statement. You see two statements on this page here. The first one introduces you and your achievements, and the second one introduces or relates the first statement to the party you're talking to. So in essence, you're saying, "This is who I am and what I can do," And this is how this relates to you and what I know about you or what you stated you're looking for. And it comes in 3 parts, okay? This is the formula. It's who, what, and how. Who, what, how. Fairly easy, right? You can remember that. Even if you didn't fill this out ahead of time, you could answer to me probably right now who you are, meaning who you are in terms of career, right, of your job title, what you can achieve or what you have achieved in your past, and how you did that. That's the who, what, and how. So you could say, I'm a sales specialist who achieves or overachieves on her quarterly targets or her annual targets by exceeding it by X $100,000 or X million dollars, right? Whatever the number that should go in here. And you should put numbers in here. Add metrics so that you can back your statement with facts. So you're the sales specialist who overachieves on your sales quota, right? Who constantly sells more than is required, or who perhaps you are in an executive sales position and you have broken new ground, or you acquire customers in previously untapped markets, or you brought new logos to the table. There are so many ways to answer this question. And then you answer the how. How did you achieve this? So let's say you are a sales specialist who constantly overachieves on her quota, or the quarterly targets that I mentioned earlier. How do you achieve this? And perhaps you have supreme closing skills, or maybe you're leveraging a great personal network, right? Or experience in an industry that others don't have, and that's why you overachieve here. However you achieved it, you will know, and that's what you put in here. And you back your statement and make it even stronger. You can leverage in the how what your strengths are. This is where you can expand on saying, this is the experience I have. This is my personal work style or leadership style. This is how I'm handling my challenges, right? Because even your personal targets, they are challenges for you. And you can state now how you tackle those and how you achieve. And on the second line, it repeats, right? It's the same formula, but now it relates to your target group. You're stating to your target audience, this is who I'm talking to. You are the company that I'm addressing, right? Either the company's name, or if you created a general elevator pitch, like a more general version that is not targeted at a specific company, but perhaps at an industry, or targeted to hiring managers hiring for a specific role that you're targeting, that this is who you can help, this is who you're targeting, right? Maybe you're targeting chief technology officers. Perhaps you're targeting a certain industry. You want to work in software, right? In the software industry, maybe, or software development, or if this is a job opening that you found online, you would say, I can help you, company XYZ, to reach your goal, which I took from your company statement, or you directly covered in the job description what you're looking for, so I can help you to perhaps break into a new industry because I have a network there and I have experience in that industry, right? And I can help you enter that industry. That would be an example where you could tie what you know and what you can do and have achieved directly to how that can help this company that you're applying to. So those are the examples that I hope are useful for you, that you can use to create this elevator pitch. And again, you can create this as a general pitch, and you can also tailor this for each position that you apply to. once you practice this, it will be a 2 to 3 minute exercise at the most, okay? So next, I suggest that you create a landing page, not any landing page, a video landing page. And before you flee the scene and shut down this video, bear with me. It is not as difficult as it seems, okay? Video may sound uncomfortable. You may cringe at just the thought of you speaking into a camera with nobody on the other side and thinking about the complexities of editing a video. And I can tell you, I have just the right tools for you and just the right methodology to prepare. You do not have to be afraid, okay? You can look professional with very little effort. We're living in a great world today, okay? You have so much opportunity. There's so many great tools that help you look like a pro with a little bit of practice, but far less effort and far less cost involved, okay? The reason I strongly suggest you do this, number one is, if you do what everybody else does, then you get the same results everybody else gets. It's a tough job market. And the reason that you clicked on this video to remind you is that you want to stand out in a crowded job market, right? You want to land more interviews. You want to get your dream job. And if what you're doing right now is not giving you the results that you're looking for, something needs to change. So take the courage. I'm here to cheer you on all the way and to help you get this done. So let me share with you why video. Now, video, when used for product marketing, and of course, you're not just a product, right? You're a person, you're alive, you're not an object. But think about it from an employer's perspective. You are, so to speak, a product that they are purchasing, and they're paying the price with your salary, and they have something to offer. Obviously, it's a two-way street there, right? They have something to offer, so it's not just that they're making the choice and you don't. But initially, when you apply, then the ball is in the court of the employer, right? Once you have applied, what happens then? There are some ways you can still stand out even after you have applied, and we can talk about that in another video. But once the recruiter has your application on the table, it's for them to decide. And to up your chances to get picked, we're going to add video. When it comes to product descriptions, you see, the product description, the features, the dimensions of the product. You even see great pictures of the product, but until you add video, it's not as powerful of a product page than with video. Video will cause up to 80% conversion rate. Now, 80% increase in conversion, I should say that. An 80% increase, meaning before they were perhaps likely, to consider you, maybe put you on the side, but now there's 80% higher chance that they will say, no, I'm going to buy this product. And by buying, we don't mean you instantly get the job offer. By buying, in this case, we mean we saw the product page, your resume that was submitted, perhaps, right? And we're now 80% more likely to invite that person to an interview. So we use video as your attention grabber, okay? So here's another advantage for you with video. At one point or another, you will have to get in front of the camera. Perhaps with somebody else on the other side, where the recruiter invites you to a second interview that, will be a video interview with somebody else on the other side, likely the hiring manager, and it feels perhaps more natural because somebody's sitting there, and so you're not just talking into the camera without anybody sitting on the other side. However, one-sided videos are on the rise. One-sided videos are invitations from recruiters to you to answer interview questions into a camera. Nobody's sitting on the other side. You submit your video, and that's it. That's how they get a first impression of you. And the rules behind those are vastly different. Some companies will allow you to record several takes, right? You can record 3 or more videos before you hit submit. A lot of companies will only give you 1 or 2 takes or none at all. There are companies that hold the philosophy that if you would be in an interview, you will be asked a question and you would have to answer right then and there. So why give you 2 or 3 takes? And some companies give you time to prepare for the answer before you record. Others, again, stick to the philosophy that if you were sitting in a room with me, you wouldn't get a chance to prepare for your answer for 20 minutes or 3 minutes, right? You would have to answer in that moment. And they want to hear how you would come across in that moment. And so I know a lot of you feel uncomfortable with that. I've heard those hesitations many, many times. So hear me out here. In you preparing your video, you are in control. This is the best version of yourself. This is you after you have rehearsed this over and over and over again until you memorized your script. Now you can say it naturally. You come across authentically, right? You're authentic. And you have learned to speak into the camera because you don't do this by recording one shot. You practice. And once you have done this, you'll see it gets easier over time. You gain confidence because you pick up your own mannerisms and you can correct on that. And then you only upload your best shot. That's when you shine, when you are at your best self. And that's what you want people to see as your great first impression, right? So you save recruiters time to get a great first impression of you without having to schedule an interview with you or even request a one-sided interview. You might even get around that, okay? So here are 2 ways to create your video landing page. Like I said earlier, you create the video, but then what do you need? You need a landing page. And you will use this landing page in 2 ways. Not in 2 ways, 1 way. You have 2 ways to create it. That's Big View and Visual CV you see on here. But you use this landing page, which gives you a unique URL, a link that you then copy and share whenever you apply for jobs, or when you contact a recruiter or a person at a company that you're interested in and you want to introduce yourself. That's when you send this. You're not broadcasting this. This is not intended to be put on your LinkedIn page so all your coworkers can see it, or former coworkers, okay? It's not there so you can be exposed with that video to everybody. But remember this, at one point or another, you will have to speak to a person face to face. They will have to see you on camera, most likely, until, we meet in person again. So this is a good chance to introduce yourself. They can see you speaking to the camera. It will be much more natural to them than if you just looked at a screen. So you do look into the camera. It's really important. That's how you appear, as if you were looking into people's eyes. And you have this video landing page prepared, which sets you miles apart from everybody else, okay? How to do this? Well, you have 2 ways of doing this. Big View is one. I recommend that you use Big View because Big View has tools that make it so easy for you to not just record, but edit a video and then create this landing page for free. It's so simple. It's 1 click to create that. If you can use Instagram to upload pictures, you can use Big View to create a video landing page. Big View is a teleprompter software, mostly, and they are available both on your phone and there's a desktop version for it that you can use on the web. And once you have created a video, you have editing tools available that make it very easy to create a professionally looking video. For example, you see here on this example that I put an overlay there that states my name and my title, and you can do the same thing. You can decide to just put your name there, or perhaps you want subtitles there. Whatever it is, BigView has the tools, and it's just a click and choose, the options that you prefer. You can replace a green screen if you used one. If not, you just record in front of a wall like I do right now, and then you don't need to remove the green screen, right? But those options exist for you, and they're very easy to use. Then once you have uploaded the video, there's an option for you to click Create Landing Page, and there it is, done. You already have the landing page. Now you have the option to choose if you want to change the banner. You see here I have a blue banner. You could put something else in the background. Then you see two buttons at the top, email me and learn more. I've chosen those. Learn more will redirect you to another website. Email me is opening an email application to send me a message. Or you could decide that you want to replace those icons with a call me button, right? Or the call to action could also be connect on LinkedIn. That's another option. And below, you can decide if you want to add your transcript, or if you prefer to create a little welcome message, right? And once you have finished this, you copy your URL and you send that to recruiters. Simple as that. Now here's what's so powerful about this, right? As I said, hardly anybody is doing this just yet. So if you do this now, you get ahead of the game. When you apply for positions, and if you don't want to send it, to contacts that you're networking with, that you have just met, or you want to send this to a recruiter, what you can do is, as you submit your job application, you will be given an opportunity to share your LinkedIn profile, and you most often have the opportunity to share another website link if you have one. What do you think most people enter in there? Mostly nothing at all, right? Some people will have their personal website built up, and they may enter that in there, but if you create a link, it will spark curiosity. So create your personal landing page, add that link in there, it will spark curiosity, and more likely than not, a recruiter will be inspired to click on it to see what's behind that. And think about this. They click on it and they see your video landing page. And it's only a minute long video, right? Or maybe a 2-minute long video. Even if they don't watch it all the way to the end, if they start clicking on it and they like what they see, because now you're personable, right? Who will get an interview? You will. So that's what we're chasing after. So BigView is one way to create your landing page. Visual CV is another. It's a slightly different way of creating your landing page. BigView is not there to help you create video, although you have the option to upload a video. What I did for this example, I used the video created in BigView and uploaded it once it was edited, right, to Visual CV. Visual CV allows people without web development experience to create their own website. It's just a drag and drop solution. You customize it from the options they give you, and it's similar to a LinkedIn page, if you wish, without the distractions. Because when you go on somebody's profile on LinkedIn, you will also see other articles that have been written, other things that LinkedIn wants you to pay attention to, other people or other people's profiles that have been looked at similar to yours, and that's not what you want, right? You want the attention on you. So this is one way of doing that. So Visual CV is your other opportunity to create a landing page. And you can also use Visual CV to upload documents if you want to share things, essays you have written or white papers. Perhaps you're in web development. Perhaps you have code to share or website examples of things you have created. You can upload your credentials to help recruiters spare them time for their research, right? You could say, hey, I am certified in these 3 different areas. I have a university degree from this location, and you upload your certificate so you help them in their research, right? So these are the 2 ways to create your landing page. So now you have 2 ways to stand out from the crowd, right? You have your elevator pitch, which you've nailed, and you've used that elevator pitch, hopefully, to create your outstanding video and video landing page. And lastly, to then land the interviews and to give you more confidence, here's number 3. Use video and a teleprompter to prepare for your interviews. And not just for your interviews, also to prepare for recording the video that you ultimately want to launch. Why using video, meaning using your camera, your phone camera or webcam, and a teleprompter? I tell you why. It is very easy to memorize a script if you're using the teleprompter as a temporary crutch. It will allow you to go through the same iteration a couple of times and then watch your recording and see your mannerisms and see if what you're saying comes out fluently, right? If it comes across as if you're convinced about what you're saying and if you're pronouncing the words properly, right? I get into the habit when I get really excited, then I speak so fast that I swallow my words, right? And so a teleprompter and using the camera to record a few times reminds me to slow it down and to watch for my mannerisms. And in the process of doing that a few times, you rehearse the script over and over and over. And if you keep repeating, you start memorizing, right? That's how it works. I mean, there are other memorization techniques, but using the teleprompter is a fairly easy way to memorize quickly what you want to say, right? And rehearse it. And then you start refining it. So that's why I recommend using that. But also, because if you are a client working with me already, you know that you can schedule mock interviews with me in your coaching session. Now, mock interviews, to those of you who are new to that, mock interviews are simulations where I play the role of a recruiter and I interview you on a job that you had applied to so that you can get feedback and practice, right? But think about how often do you want to schedule those mock interviews. You probably want to reserve that for an interview that's coming up that's really important to you, but you want to be prepared at all times to be ready to interview, because you don't always get a long lead time before an interview. Sometimes recruiters may say, we want to talk to you tomorrow or this afternoon, and you don't get enough time in your schedule to schedule a coaching session with me, right? So how do you prepare? And here's another truth to this. Even if you were scheduling a mock interview with me, or perhaps you're working with another coach, you want to be prepared before you go there. Because otherwise, if you just do this for the first time and you realize you're not as well prepared, there's a lot that needs improvement, you'll feel demotivated, crushed, and your confidence will be shaken before the interview. That's not what you want. That's not what any of us wants for you either. So to prepare yourself for a job interview and even for a mock interview before you do that, use the camera, give yourself feedback. The old way of doing this, perhaps, was standing in front of a mirror and seeing how you act, right? And it feels awkward maybe. But doing this in front of a camera will also teach you something that you wouldn't do with a mirror. You learn to look into the camera. not the screen. Like right now I'm looking at the screen, and now I look at the camera. Looking into the camera will feel to the other side as if you're looking into their eyes. It's connecting. We are used to looking onto the screen, right? If you have a Zoom call, you're probably used to looking at the screen and not the camera. But this will teach you to act differently, and it will make a big difference for you, okay? And video is something that won't go away, not for a long time, I believe, okay? So use this to prepare yourself. Now, here's what I have for you. As you're preparing, use the interview prep template or the workbook that I am giving you at the end of this video. You'll see a link that will allow you to download a workbook that is loaded with interview questions that help you prepare from very easy to more challenging questions that are most commonly asked in interviews. You prepare your answers one by one, and then I suggest that you upload each answer separately into the teleprompter. What you see here on the left-hand side is how the teleprompter for Big View looks like, right, on your phone. So you upload your text there, and where it says keep your eyes on the camera, that's where your answer, your transcript would appear. And so as you're looking at the teleprompter, it will look like you're looking into the camera, but not yet, right? Because you're still practicing. Rehearse this a few times. Again, we're talking about a 1-minute answer, right? Because you're learning to say things concisely, practicing the elevator pitch method. And the interview prep workshop will give you also an answer key that is slightly different from the one I gave you for the elevator pitch. But you use that answer key to prepare each answer, and it will cause you to keep it concise and well-rounded, okay? So that you deliver value in each answer. And just keep in mind what you wrote down in your workbook will probably not sound as great when you speak it, okay? When you say those words that you had written on paper. Why? Well, because the way we write and the way we speak are different. Even if we think we're writing very casually or very much as if we would be saying this, but it's different, right? We build longer sentences, for example. So as you're practicing with a teleprompter, you will realize how you will need to modify your script. And you'll realize if you're writing something, you're not having to pronounce it. Sometimes you have to realign the sentence so that the words will come out easily. Sometimes we create tongue twisters with what we're saying in writing. And so you want to change the sentence so that when you have to speak it, it is not the tongue twister, right? It's easy to say. Then you also see yourself on camera, so you can pick up on mannerisms. Perhaps it's scratching your head, right? Multiple times. Or perhaps you're leaning your head to the side, right? And it looks awkward, so you need to correct that. How you pronounce certain words, you can improve on that if you pick up, on something that sounds like, they might not understand what I'm saying if I say it that way, so I want to change this. So you rehearse this and you improve. And let's say you have a 1-minute answer. In 10 minutes, you get through 5 rehearsals, right? 5-minute recordings, and then you review each recording that is 1 minute long. And you realize, this is what I need to improve. Then you record again. So in 10 minutes, you have 5 rehearsals in already. That's great. You wouldn't be able to create as much in such a short amount of time with your coach, all right? That you have so many rehearsals in such a short time. So use this to rehearse, then to review and improve. Once you feel comfortable enough that you don't really have to look at the teleprompter anymore, record it without that by looking directly into the camera and watch yourself on the recording. It will make such a difference, okay? And you can keep the teleprompter there to help you along, but just remember, once you're in an interview, you won't have the teleprompter. You could still use the teleprompter when you're creating your introduction for your video that we talked about, right? That brief introduction video that appears on your landing page, where you state who you are and what you stand for, and that you're looking forward to connect with your audience soon, right? So you can still use the teleprompter for that, but you most likely, after you rehearsed with it, won't need it, okay? And this ends the video. So you have 3 ways to stand out. Have your elevator pitch, the video landing page, and prepare using the teleprompter to bridge that gap, to memorize, and using video to get quick feedback on your presence and to improve it. And to get access to this free interview prep template, this workbook, simply go to ZARADIGM.com. The link is here. I'll copy it down below as well. And if you're a customer already, you need to simply log into your ZARADIGM coaching account and go into your online library, and you'll find this template there for your use. All right, well, good luck for getting more interviews and for nailing your next job interview and landing your dream job. Talk to you soon.